Hey everyone, welcome to Big Flick Energy. With the recent release of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I decided to make a Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Obviously, I'm not making the movies, I'm just making ideas for them. But I'm assuming if you're already on this level 3 video, you've probably seen the Phase 1 and the Phase 2 videos as well. So there's really no need for an intro. However, if you haven't seen those videos, you can find a link to Phase 1 up at the screen right now. So here we go, let's jump right into level 3. But we're actually not jumping into level 3. Because before we go there, I want to mention what one of my subscribers said recently about their idea for a Donkey Kong Country movie, which is actually going to replace what I said in level 1 for my Donkey Kong movie. So it's not going to be a full change, but as you can see in the screen, this person Speedboom recommended this, and I absolutely love this idea, so I think this is what should be done instead. Where it's going to be the same story as I mentioned previously, but this time, we are going to see Donkey Kong telling this story as it happened in the past, not after the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And everything that Donkey Kong is describing is completely exaggerated, where obviously he is very boastful, and you can't really trust everything that he says. He has a major ego, so he's just gonna start saying, oh yeah, I punched him to the moon, and I sent him to space, and it's gonna have the most anime-like scenes, and it's gonna be the most fake thing you've ever seen. It's still gonna look similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie with the same animation style, but it's obviously going to have some crazy levels of exaggeration to make it feel different from those films, because it is a separate franchise. It's part of the same world, but it's a spin-off, so you want to make it have its own energy. So you're pretty much going to see how that is going to work, and I absolutely love this idea, so thank you Speedboom for this. But now we jump back into level 3, where at the end of level 2, we had the Smash Bros. Brawl movie, where we see Mewtwo and Ash's worlds collide, they become one. We see Lumily go back with Rosalina and Olimar to the Super Mario Galaxy world. We see Mario and Peach return to the Super Mario Bros. World. And now we start off level 3 with Star Fox Season 2. So this is a second season of Star Fox, which takes place a couple years after the first season. The Lilat system is in peril once again as a new enemy known as the Aperoids threatens to destroy everything in its path. Fox McCloud, now leader of the reformed Star Fox team, must gather his team to stop this threat, including the rival mercenary Wolf O'Donnell, who begrudgingly agrees to join them in a Loki and Thor Ragnarok kind of fashion, especially after the Smash Bros. Brawl film, where he was a side antagonist working under Taboo. So all the side antagonists working under Taboo in the Smash Bros. Brawl movie, like Bowser, King Dedede, Wolf here, they are all going to go back into their worlds, and it's not that they don't remember what happened, they obviously remember, but that's going to be something that they don't really mention that much because it's in their past and they don't want to talk about their failures. So we see that along the way, Fox reunites with old allies like Peppy Hare and Rob the Robot, so Rob from the Smash Bros. Games is actually part of this world as well, and new ones like Crystal, a mysterious vixen with ties to the Aperoids. As they battle their way through the Aperoid army, they discover the true nature of their foe and the sacrifices they must make to save their home. Meanwhile, Wolf's past comes back to haunt him as his loyalty to the team and his own personal desires are put to the test. And once again, this show will be stylistically similar to the DreamWorks film Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas. This then takes us into the Pokemon project where we see Ash and Mewtwo collide, Pokémon Unleashed. This film shows Ash and Mewtwo's worlds colliding as the humans fight in a war against Mewtwo's army of Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon in this world stay with their owners in the fight, and we see a lot of characters from Pokemon series return to take on the armies of Mewtwo. We see Mewtwo and Ash meet to try to resolve this, but Mewtwo says his world cannot act in peace with Ash's, as humans will always seek to rule over Pokemon. Ash will then challenge Mewtwo to a battle with the team he had in Smash Bros. Brawl, minus Squirtle since he's the weakest Pokemon. Before the battle begins, Mewtwo unveils a tube with Giovanni inside with a Mega Evolution Band, as Mewtwo shows his Mega Stone in hand as he Mega Evolves into Mega Mewtwo X. Mewtwo destroys Incineroar and then takes out Charizard and Ash Greninja with a little more of a challenge, where he is then faced with Mega Lucario, sending him to the ground and sending Lucario back into a normal Lucario, as he then takes his Mega Evolution Stone and cracks it, destroying it. So, we're not going to see Mega Lucario anymore. As the Pokemon continue to lose, Mewtwo revives them as his followers. So Ash sees this and realizes he can't go into battle with Pikachu or else he'll lose him, so he runs away. Pikachu attacks Ash's former Pokemon as he tries to escape, as Ash also sends out Squirtle to help. They eventually escape as Mega Mewtwo X reverts back into Mewtwo. Ash goes back to Pallet Town and feels doomed to fail until he talks to his mom, who gives him a pep talk, leading him to call all his friends to meet him in Pallet Town with their strongest Pokemon teams. But while waiting for them to arrive, Ash takes a team to find his world's Mewtwo, the one he fought and come to terms with in Mewtwo Strikes Back. He feels as if this Mewtwo is the only one that can actually defeat this antagonistic Mewtwo. Ash eventually finds him and tells him he's the only one that can help stop this other Mewtwo, saying he's seen the truth about humans, to which Mewtwo agrees to help, finishing off the talk with two statements. First, stating for him to win in the battle, he'll need to connect with Ash using his Mega Evolution Stone, and the other statement is in saying that even though Ash called all his human friends to help, that Mewtwo now called some of Ash's Pokemon friends as well. This is when legendaries like Latias, Suicune, Solgaleo, and Ho-Oh pop up, all Pokemon Ash had previously had relationships with. Ash goes back to Pallet Town as he sees an array of Pokemon champions and friends from his journeys and professors ready to help in the fight, even including Jesse and James. Ash returns to take on Mewtwo with a team consisting of Latias, Suicune, Solgaleo, Ho-Oh, Mega Mewtwo Y, Pikachu, and all his friends. They start taking on an army of Pokemon as Ash flies through the battle, flying on Ho-Oh to get down to the ground, gets a ride on Latias. He then switches mounts to Suicune and falls off, as he is met by a wall of 10 Pokemon. But we then see Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres attack those Pokemon. I didn't previously mention them, because those aren't Ash's friends. When Ash looks back to see who is commanding those three legendaries, we see a man that looks like Red from the Pokemon games and Pokemon Legends anime, but older. Ash freezes and whispers the word, Dad, in shock. But he's then swept up by Solgaleo, and Ash turns around, realizing he needs to focus on this battle. Solgaleo then breaks through the fortress Mewtwo is in, and we see Mewtwo fly next to Ash as he enters the fortress. When they arrive, we see Mewtwo challenge Ash and become Mega Mewtwo X, as Ash's Mewtwo then becomes Mega Mewtwo Y. They battle one-on-one as Ash then takes on the 5 Pokemon he lost, Lucario, Incineroar, Greninja, Charizard, and Ivysaur, alongside Shiny Rayquaza, who helped Mewtwo in his takeover in Mewtwo Unleashed, where Mewtwo previously mentioned in the Smash Bros. Brawl movie that he knows how to tame Rayquaza, so this is obviously alluding to what's happening now. And Ash takes him on with his team of Sceptile, Infernape, Dragonite, Pidgeot, Gengar, and Pikachu. Ultimately, Dark Mewtwo is defeated as they need to decide on what to do with the new Pokemon in the world that are now used to ruling. Good Mewtwo says he will lead them and teach them to live in harmony with humanity. In the end, we'll see Ash return to Pallet Town to talk to his mother and tell her he thinks he saw his dad and needs to go find him, which will set up the final film in this trilogy. Also, if you're not happy about hearing that the Red is Ash's dad, that's actually not 100% the case. So just hear me out for the future project that is going to be in a couple of minutes. We'll eventually get there in this video. Next up, we have Metroid Corruption, which is a film based on the video game Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. So Metroid Corruption is an epic conclusion to the Metroid Prime film trilogy, taking place in the immersive and expansive universe of the Metroid video game series. In the wake of the events from the previous films, bounty hunter Samus Aran finds herself facing Dark Samus once again, where she failed to single-handedly take her out in the Smash Bros. Brawl movie, despite Dark Samus eventually being defeated by a team in that film. In this film, having amassed incredible power and control over the corrupted Phazon substance, Dark Samus launches a relentless assault on the galaxy, seeking to consume all life in her insatiable hunger for power. Samus, plagued by her own inner conflicts and haunted by her connection to Phazon, embarks on a perilous journey across multiple planets to assemble a team capable of combating Dark Samus and her corrupted forces. Joined by loyal allies including fellow bounty hunters, members of the Galactic Federation, and the surviving Luminoth, Samus must unite to scattered forces of light against the encroaching darkness. As the team ventures into the heart of Dark Samus' stronghold, they encounter treacherous environments, deadly traps, and corrupted creatures driven to the brink of madness. The group's unwavering determination and unique skills are put to the test as they engage in thrilling battles against powerful adversaries, pushing themselves to their limits to keep the galaxy from falling into eternal darkness. Throughout the journey, Samus wrestles with her inner demons, delving into the depths of her own past and confronting the truth about her connection to Phazon. With each revelation, Samus gains a deeper understanding of her role in the battle against Dark Samus and the ultimate sacrifice she must make to save the galaxy she has sworn to protect. In a climactic showdown, Samus faces Dark Samus in an epic battle that shakes the foundations of the universe. It becomes a test of strength, willpower, and resilience of the human spirit. As the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance, Samus must summon every ounce of her power, embrace her unique abilities, and make the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that darkness is vanquished and light can prevail. Metroid Corruption delivers a thrilling and emotional charged conclusion to the Metroid Prime film trilogy, showcasing the enduring strength of Samus Aran as she confronts her destiny and the ultimate evil threatening the galaxy. Next up, we have a TV show, a second season for Fire Emblem, where although this is season 2, this season of the show follows the third Fire Emblem game. The third installment of the Fire Emblem series, Mystery of the Emblem, takes place on the continent of Arcania, where a war breaks out between two kingdoms, Arcania and Dolour. The protagonist, Prince Marth of Altea, fights to save his kingdom from the evil forces of Dolour, who seek to dominate the continent. Along the way, Marth reunites with old friends like Roya Foray and makes new allies, including the fierce warrior Navarre, the loyal Pegasus Knight Keita, and the powerful mage Merrick. As the war intensifies, Marth discovers a sinister plot by the dark sorcerer Garneth to resurrect the dragon Medeus and plunge the continent into eternal darkness. With the help of his comrades and the legendary Fire Emblem, Marth leads his army into battle to stop Garneth and save Arcania from destruction. The story is filled with political intrigue, complex relationships, and epic battles that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. Once again, this show will be stylistically similar to Invincible, and will be thematically similar to Game of Thrones. Next up, we have the end of the Kirby trilogy, Kirby 3, which will follow the events of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. In Kirby 3, Kirby finds himself in a strange and mysterious world after being swept away by a series of dark vortexes. Separated from his home in Dreamland, Kirby encounters a group of creatures called Awoofies. Kirby befriends a blue rodent-like creature named Elfilin, who reveals that their mutual friends, the Waddle Dees, have been captured by a savage group called the Beast Pack. Determined to rescue them, Kirby and Elfilin embark on a journey through various regions of a rival continent, rebuilding the Waddle Dee town as they go. Facing off against powerful members of the Beast Pack and even a brainwashed King Dedede, Kirby and Elfilin fight to free the captured Waddle Dees. Along the way, they discover the existence of a powerful being called Specimen ID F86, kept in stasis within Lab Discoverer. Leongar, the leader of the Beast Pack, seeks to reunite the specimen with Elfilin and gain incredible power. As Kirby and Elfilin reach the specimen and his viewing chamber, they find themselves confronted by Leongar. However, it is revealed that Leongar has become possessed by the specimen, now known as Sphectophorgo. Sphectophorgo plans to consume everything and absorb its missing half, Elfilin, to become whole. In a climactic battle, Kirby defeats Leongar and frees Elfilin, but Sphectophorgo mutates into a monstrous chimera. Kirby and Elfilin escape the lab as Sphectophorgo pursues them, but they manage to weaken the creature and tear Elfilin from its grasp. Sphecto-Elfilis, the restored form of the creature, creates a dimensional rift threatening to crash planet Popstar into the new world. Kirby uses his newfound ability, the Big Rig Mouth, to chase down Sphecto-Elfilis and destroy its body, ultimately closing the rift. Returning to planet Popstar, Kirby is saddened by the apparent loss of Elfilin, but his friend miraculously reappears through a smaller rift. With the Waddle Dees and the Beast Pack now living harmoniously, Kirby and Elfilin rejoice in their victory. Kirby 3 is a heartwarming and action-packed adventure that showcases Kirby's determination to save his friends and protect the balance between different worlds. With thrilling battles, unexpected twists, and the power of friendship, Kirby's journey highlights his indomitable spirit and his ability to bring harmony to even the most chaotic situations. And once again, this franchise and this film will be stylistically similar to Trolls. Now we have a new character in a new film with Little Mac, which this film takes inspiration from the video game Punch-Out and acts as an animated Rocky movie. In the film, inspired by Rocky, the plot follows a young and determined boxer named Little Mac who is trained to become the champion of the WVBA, the World Video Boxing Association. Little Mac is going to be from the world of Mario, but not the world of the Mushroom Kingdom, the actual world of Mario, as Little Mac is from the Bronx and Mario's from Brooklyn. And there's actually some logic to this, so I'll mention it later. And Mario won't necessarily have an appearance in this film, but there will be newspapers shown talking about what happened a couple years ago in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I decided to cross these over as it's almost confirmed Little Mac takes place in the world of Mario, considering Mario acts as a ref in the game, and one of the fighters is actually Donkey Kong. So in this story, with the help of his trainer Doc Lewis, Little Mac climbs the ranks of the boxing world, facing off against a series of colorful and eccentric opponents such as King Hippo, Glass Joe, and Mr. Sandman. As he progresses through the competition, Little Mac begins to discover more about his opponents, their motivations, and their struggles. In a final bout, Little Mac faces off against the champion, where, look, in the video game, the champion is Mike Tyson. If we can get Mike Tyson for this movie, that would be perfect. If it can't be Mike Tyson though, I think it would be pretty fun to see Floyd Mayweather, Tyson Fury, and even, who knows, Jake Paul. That could get people to watch, who knows. So if you could get any of those people to actually voice the main antagonist and to be the main antagonist, I think it should be Mike Tyson, but any of those others would work as well. And this would be a high-stakes match that will determine the fate of his boxing career. This film will be stylistically similar to the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, but Little Mac will have a slightly more realistic character design. Like we saw with some of the people in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, that they looked more realistic than Mario. Mario just happened to be a very short character that looked very animated. But there are other characters in that world that look more realistic, and Little Mac will be one of those. So then we go on to another Season 2 with Earthbound. This season is based on the events of the video game Mother 3. The second season of Earthbound would be a captivating season that intertwines the events of the beloved video game with the world of its predecessor, Earthbound Season 1, creating a thrilling and nostalgic journey for fans. The show begins several years after the events of Earthbound Season 1. Lucas, a young boy from the idyllic Nowhere Islands, is haunted by the tragic loss of his mother and the disappearance of his brother Klaus. Determined to uncover the truth, Lucas embarks on a quest to find Klaus, encountering a cast of quirky characters along the way. As Lucas delves deeper into his search, he discovers a dark force known as the Pigmask Army that has taken control of the Nowhere Islands. Led by the enigmatic masked commander who has been planning his return ever since being brought back by Taboo in the Smash Bros. Brawl film, Porky Minch, the Pigmask Army seeks to exploit the island's resources and impose their rule upon its inhabitants. Lucas realizes that the fate of his family and the entire world rests on his shoulders. Throughout his journey, Lucas forms an unlikely alliance with characters from the first season of Earthbound who hear of the return of Porky Minch and want to help, including Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, who have arrived in the Nowhere Islands to investigate the strange happenings and offer their assistance. Together, they navigate treacherous landscapes, battle bizarre creatures, and confront their own inner demons. As the story unfolds, Lucas uncovers the truth behind his mother's death and Klaus's disappearance. He learns about the deep connection between the Nowhere Islands and the events of Earthbound. The lines between past and present blur as the characters confront their shaded history and face the consequences of their actions. As the final confrontation with Porky Minch approaches, the boundaries between dimensions begin to crumble, and the echoes of the past intertwine with the present as we are revealed there is a greater threat at work in the world of Earthbound by the name of Gigas. But he won't be revealed in this season and will instead be shown as an eventual threat. Lucas and his friends must tap into the power of friendship, love, and the bonds they have forged to save their world and rewrite their destinies. Earthbound Season 2 is an emotionally charged and thrilling TV show that pays homage to the beloved Earthbound series while delivering a fresh and captivating narrative. With its blend of nostalgia, humor, and heartfelt moments, the show captures the essence of the games and brings the enchanting world of Mother to life on the screen. Next up, we have Link and the Breath of the Wild, which will follow the events of the video game of the same name. In a world where the kingdom of Hyrule is in ruins and Calamity Ganon has taken over, Link awakens from a century-long slumber with no memory of his past. In this journey, Link learns of the events of Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and the Fall of Hyrule films as he begins to question whether he truly is the hero destined to defeat Ganon. Zelda eventually convinces him that he is the hero meant to save the world, as he would not be back if that were not the case, and neither would Ganon. He is guided by the spirit of the deceased King Rome and tasked with restoring peace to Hyrule. Link embarks on a perilous journey across the vast and dangerous landscape of Hyrule, facing numerous challenges and battles along the way, teaming up with Zelda, who is still wearing her chic outfit. He must collect powerful weapons, uncover ancient technology, and recruit allies to aid him in his quest. As he progresses, Link learns more about the events that led to the kingdom's downfall and discovers that Ganon's corruption runs deeper than he ever imagined. Link gathers the power of the 4 champions as well as the aid of the divine beasts. Together they're able to weaken Calamity Ganon before Link faces off against him. However, this form of Ganon remains one of the most omnipotent and all-powerful villains in the Zelda franchise. The movie culminates in an epic battle between Link and Ganon, where Link must use all of his skills and the power of the legendary Triforce to defeat the evil that has consumed Hyrule. With the help of Princess Zelda and the 4 champions, Link must confront the evil that plagues Hyrule and put an end to it once and for all. In the end, Link and Zelda restore the kingdom to its former glory, and peace is once again restored to the land. This film will be stylistically similar to How to Train Your Dragon, and look, now this is the 5th of the Legend of Zelda films, which I know feels like a lot, but so that the length of the series does not feel as long, an idea I had was to really make these films feel different, and as if they're part of different trilogies. Now the animation style will remain the same, but the first film, Link and the Legend of Zelda, was more of a precursor to the franchise without Ganondorf as the main antagonist. The rest of the films have had Ganondorf as the main antagonist, but by making Ocarina of Time and the Fall of Hyrule films take place at one specific time period and be direct sequels of each other, it feels like its own franchise. The same goes for what I'm calling the Switch trilogy, which will follow Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and the new game set to be released after Tears of the Kingdom a couple years after right now, which Tears of the Kingdom literally just came out a couple days ago. So where the Fall of Hyrule trilogy was more similar thematically to Harry Potter, focusing in on action, adventure, and loss, the Switch trilogy will be more similar thematically to The Lord of the Rings, focusing in on exploration and character journeys, slowing down the pace of the films a little just to make this trilogy feel different from the previous ones. Now the next film, a new franchise, is Splatoons, and this film follows the events of the Splatoon games. In the post-apocalyptic world, the squid-like Inklings engage in a constant turf war. Their weapon of choice is ink, and the goal is to cover as much ground as possible with their team's color. Amidst this ongoing conflict, a young Inkling named Callie discovers a sinister plot by the Octarians, a rival group of octopus-like creatures, to steal the energy from the world's remaining sources of power. With the help of her friends Mary and a ragtag team of Inklings, Callie sets out on a dangerous mission to stop the Octarians and save their world from complete destruction. Along the way, they'll encounter epic battles, unexpected alliances, and uncover the secrets of their world's past. This is the first new actual movie world in the Nintendo Cinematic Universe since Level 2's Mewtwo Unleashed, which in a lot of ways is a copy of a previous Pokemon world we had already seen. So one aspect to show in this film is how the rules of this world differ from the rest and how these characters are designed. And I believe that this film should be stylistically similar to a completely new DreamWorks movie, Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which hasn't come out yet, but stylistically I feel like it would fit the world of Splatoons. Now maybe it's because the main characters are Kraken, similar to Squid, so maybe that's just me being a little bit biased in what I think would work, but it does look stylistically similar to what I would like to see in the Splatoons world. Now next up, we have a new TV show in Animal Crossing Season 1. This show follows the events of the Animal Crossing video game, and Animal Crossing is a slice-of-life comedy series that follows the daily adventure of a young villager who moves to a new town filled with talking animals. The villager works hard to establish themselves, making friends with their new neighbors, participating in town events, and working odd jobs to earn money. Along the way, they learn valuable life lessons about responsibility, friendship, and the importance of community. The show also features various wacky and charming characters like Tom Nook, the town's raccoon landlord, and Isabelle, the friendly town clerk who helps the villager navigate their new surroundings. With its heartwarming themes and lovable characters, Animal Crossing is a delightful series that captures the spirit of small town life. This film will be stylistically similar to Captain Underpants the movie, but with a slightly more 2D influenced animation style. I think thematically it would be pretty cool for this series to also be similar to The Office or Modern Family, where you have these characters talking to the camera. Just to see it in an animated series, I feel like that's not really done that much. So I just thought, why not? So next up, we have the Super Mario Odyssey movie. And this film takes inspiration from the video game Super Mario Odyssey, as it shows Mario returning to his home dimension to stop a threat that arrived there. Using everything he learned from his adventures alongside his new Cappy. In a world where humans and the Mushroom Kingdom coexist, Bowser and his minions launch a full-scale invasion, taking over the human city with their advanced technology. Mario, along with his new ally Cappy, travels to different kingdoms to collect Power Moons to stop Bowser's evil plan and eventually return to New York to stop him. Along the way, they meet various residents of the different kingdoms and even team up with Bowser's own minions who have their own reasons for opposing their leader. As they journey towards the ultimate showdown with Bowser, Mario and Cappy uncover the true nature of Bowser's plan and the hidden dangers it poses to the entire world. As Bowser takes the fight to Mario's homeworld and hometown of Brooklyn, we are reintroduced to Little Mac, who was previously established to be part of this world in his own film. In this film, while he's just a side character, he still journeys with Mario and Cappy to help take on Bowser and his armies. However, as the story continues, our protagonists find out that the black sludge controlling Bowser in the Super Mario Land movie has been inside of him this entire time and has been becoming more powerful. They realize this with the help of Bowser Jr., who just wants his father back. They learn more about the black sludge and its origins, and in a climactic battle, Mario and Cappy, Luigi, Peach, Little Mac, and other fighters from his own film, the armies of the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser Jr., Bowser's armies, the armies of the Jungle Kingdom, and the citizens of New York all unite to take on Kaiju Bowser, who greatly resembles his design from Super Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury. As they defeat him and the black sludge leaves his body, they are able to finally take out the black sludge as Bowser burns it to a crisp. The film ends with Bowser and Mario coming to terms as a closure to this saga of the Super Mario franchise, but this doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of Mario's story. Now, this film will be stylistically similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and in Level 4, I will speak about what happens in the future of the Mario world, which is a very different story. Now, we go back into the world of Pokemon with Pokemon Unseen. This film deals with Ash trying to find his father, but he instead finds out a much darker plot going on. This film begins with Ash believing to have met his father in the final battle of Pokémon Unleashed against Mewtwo, and takes place directly after that, where after the end credits of that film, we see Ash talking to his mom. Ash explains to his mom that he saw an older man that looks like him who saved him in his fight against Mewtwo. As Ash's mom tries telling him to not leave just yet, Ash still leaves, and we see his mom call Professor Oak and tell him the day they feared has come. He's now looking for his father. Ash begins his journey by going next door to Professor Oak's lab, where he begins to research trainers with the 3 legendary birds of Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. While researching, the results continuously come back with nothing showing. Professor Oak walks in with Ash's mom, and they break the news to him about the truth of his father, where they reveal that his father is actually Giovanni, leader of Team Rocket and main antagonist of the Pokemon franchise. Now, once again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're not happy that Red is the father, keep on watching. If you're not happy that Giovanni's the father, keep on watching because the story takes a turn. When they tell this to Ash, he refuses to believe it because that's not who he saw in the battlefield. So he runs away, declaring that if they're not going to say who his dad really is, that he'll just have to ask Giovanni himself. Ash goes on his journey and eventually crosses paths with Jesse, James, and Meowth, who try to take Pikachu. But this was all part of Ash's plan, as before blasting them off again, he tells them to take him to Giovanni. So for the next big chunk of the movie, Ash is journeying with Team Rocket to find Giovanni. They take Ash to the headquarters of Team Rocket to meet him. When he meets him and asks why his mom says he is dad, and who the man in the red cap is, Giovanni begins to tell Ash about how all these years he's been trying to catch Pikachu. He just wanted his son back. But what seems like genuine care from Giovanni soon devolves into something darker, as he reveals another son that looks exactly like Ash. This Ash begins to speak and tells that he is from the other world where his father Giovanni was killed by Shadow Mewtwo. So this is the world where Giovanni told this new evil Ash that Team Rocket would now be his empire after he is gone, but now says these two Ashes must battle to determine who deserved to be heir, in a very Emperor Palpatine-esque fashion. Our Ash is ready to battle evil Ash, but at this moment, the alarms of the building go off, showing that there is an intruder inside, as we then see the lights go out after a bolt of electricity through the building. Then a wall gets frozen from the outside as we see it start to frost and turn blue. and then we see a blast of fire come through as the man with the cap comes in. Giovanni looks at him and whispers the word Red, and Red is able to escape with Ash. As they escape and land somewhere more hidden, Red tells Ash the truth of everything, where Red is the first Pokemon Master, and while Giovanni was a gym leader, he actually had a good relationship with him, and eventually told Red of his desire to create the perfect Pokemon in the form of Mewtwo, but that this Pokemon may need a perfect partner in this first Pokemon Master. He told Red that he thought to create the ultimate duo, not only would the Pokemon need to be cloned of Mew, but the trainer would need to be cloned of Mew and himself. He then explains to Ash that Giovanni successfully cloned Red, but after Red discovers what Giovanni's true intentions were, where he wanted to create an army of clones using Mewtwo's, he decided to shut down Giovanni's plans by escaping with his clone and then going into hiding to protect the child in case anything ever happened, so Giovanni could never create the army he wanted. Red explains he brought the kid to his old friend Professor Oak, who gave him his Bulbasaur when he was younger, who had a friend that was willing to take on the baby as her own. But Red knew that one day he would be destined to explore the world and became a Pokemon Master as well. So he left him a gift to eventually be claimed at the lab as his first Pokemon, Pikachu. I mean, saying that Ash is a clone of Red is a pretty bold take and conclusion to reach with these characters. Ash doesn't believe this and gets angry at Red until we see Pikachu see Red and jump towards him, excited to see his old friend and original partner. This is when Ash mentions when he was there was another version of him that came from the other Pokemon world and that Giovanni is ready to make him heir. So they're going to need to stop him by finding Mew so Giovanni can't clone him again. We cut back to Giovanni and Evil Ash as we see them discussing what to do now, where Giovanni says he will be the heir, but that as he knows the plan was to clone him, the plan must be completed. So as they go on their journey to find Mew and eventually find him, they realize he could clone based off Mewtwo as well. But it's too late at this point, as we see the armies of Team Rocket attacking Mewtwo's new Pokemon village. Eventually, they capture Mewtwo and begin creating the clone army where all the clones are in tubes at this point. So Ash and Red must go back in to fight and take on Giovanni and Evil Ash. In this 2-on-2 battle, the teams are Giovanni's team of Rhyperior, Mega Kangaskhan, Nidoking, Honchkrow, Nidoqueen, and Persian, Evil Ash's team of Zoroark, Shadow Lugia, Mr. Rhyme, Mega Charizard X, Ditto, and Raichu, Red's team of Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, Snorlax, Lapras, and Mega Venusaur, and Ash's team of Ash Greninja, Mew, Sceptile, Charizard, Lucario, and Pikachu. Keep in mind, Lucario is no longer Mega Lucario. Ultimately, Ash, Mew, and Red will defeat Team Rocket and stop the cloning while also releasing Mewtwo. We will see Giovanni be arrested alongside most of the other Team Rocket members, but Jesse, James, and Meowth will stay free as they go on to do what they truly love in life. Mewtwo tells them he is returning to rebuild his society of Pokemon. At the end of the movie, Red is flying back with Ash to Pallet Town, and Ash asks Red how is it he became a Pokemon Master, where Red says a crazy number of battles won and a ton of accolades, but then says that the easiest way that's never been done is to defeat a Pokemon Master by closing it off saying, and now that's a real option, because he's not in hiding anymore and is ready to show himself as the Pokemon Master again, setting up a potential sequel where we will see Ash versus Red. Ash also mentions on the ride that he's thankful for all the caps he got him throughout the years, but Red has no idea what he's talking about and realizes Red is more of an older brother than a father. When Ash arrives at Pallet Town, Professor Oak begins talking to Red and Ash goes up to his mom. While speaking to his mom, he asked that if it wasn't Red who got him the caps all these years, then who were they from? She said she could never tell him the truth about his dad, but telling him he was gone would have broken his heart, so she wanted to keep his dream alive by making up a father that would love him and bring him gifts and be there for him. But that it was always her who stepped up to play the role of both parents, where Ash then realizes, even though he doesn't truly have a father, that his mother has done more than he could ever hope for, and he embraces her in an emotional close to what I consider the Mewtwo trilogy. Now, while it's an end to the Mewtwo trilogy, it's also the second film in the Ash trilogy, where the third eventual film would show him taking on Red for the title of Pokemon Master. Once again, this film will be stylistically similar to Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolutions mixed in with Kung Fu Panda for Pokemon designs. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about this film is I've heard a lot of criticisms for my videos talking about how I'm choosing to use Ash instead of Red because it's supposed to be a love letter to the games, and by using Ash instead of Red, I'm kind of ignoring the video games. So, in a lot of ways, this is tying Red back into the films now, where he's always been around, he's always been the Pokemon Master, he's always been the main Pokemon character, where Ash is trying to live up to that legacy. And Ash, honestly, in the TV show, has always, in a way, been a clone of Red. People have always said that he's heavily based on Red. So in this way, I'm kind of playing with that by saying that he's literally a clone of Red. So this was my decision of how to tie in Red to this franchise. From the beginning, I wanted to show Red in this world, but I also wanted to have Ash, and I didn't know how to combine the two stories. But I feel like this is probably the best way to do it, where it's actually showing that Ash is a clone of Red, and it does put Red as the first Pokemon Master, and the one that Ash needs to live up to his legacy. And it also ties in pretty smoothly with the end of the Pokemon show, where Gary asks Ash if him being a Pokemon champion now means that he's a Pokemon Master. And this will officially lead into the Pokemon Master trilogy. So, after this, we go to a new TV show in the form of Xenoblade Season 1. So this show takes inspiration from the Xenoblade show series, and in a world formed from two titans, locked in an endless struggle, a young man named Shulk gains the ability to wield the legendary Monado, a sword with the power to see the future. Alongside his friends, he sets out on a quest to discover the truth behind the conflict behind the Bionis and the Mekonis, and to prevent a catastrophic future foretold by his visions. Their journey takes them across the vast, breathtaking landscapes of the two titans, through battles against powerful enemies, and into the heart of a dark conspiracy that threatens to destroy all life on the world. The show explores themes of fate, free will, and the impact of personal choices on the wider world, as well as the bonds of friendship and love that can transcend even the most dire circumstances. And I think that this show should be stylistically similar to the TV show One Piece. Now next up is another Legend of Zelda project, Link and the Tears of the Kingdom, which follows the events of the very new game. This film will be stylistically similar to How to Train Your Dragon, and as mentioned before, this film will be thematically similar to Lord of the Rings by showing how expansive the world of Legend of Zelda is, and where our protagonists fit into the grand scheme of things. Now, to close this out, we have the Smash Bros. Ultimate movie. This film takes inspiration from the video game Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In this film, all of the iconic Nintendo characters come together to battle it out for ultimate supremacy. The plot follows Kirby as the sole survivor of an attack by the villainous Gallium, and he travels through various game worlds to rescue his friends and stop Gallium's nefarious plans. Along the way, Kirby recruits various heroes including Mario, Link, and Donkey Kong to aid in his quest. The battles are epic and the stakes are high, culminating in a final showdown between the heroes and Gallium. The movie is filled with references to classic Nintendo games and is sure to delight fans of the franchise. So in this film, when Kirby comes to recruit Ash, Ash goes to the Pokemon Center and requests to take all his Pokemon out, showing that later on in the movie, we will see all of Ash's Pokemon come together to help in this next fight. Not only this, but Red also comes through with him. When he arrives, he sees Mewtwo is also there, which is a shock to him, but they realize he must have been brought in to replace the previous Mewtwo. In this film, we will also see Mario differently, as he'll be using Cappy from the Super Mario Odyssey movie. We will also see many DLC characters in this movie, since Smash Bros. Ultimate had the most DLC characters in the video games. The DLC characters in this film will include characters from Arcane, Sonic, Skylanders, Castlevania, and any other video game, TV, or movie projects that may have been created since then. Once again, this film will be stylistically similar to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse films, where we see different versions of Spider-Man looking similar to their own homeworlds. So the heroes in this film will be Mario with Cappy, Luigi, Peach, Olimar with his Pikmin, Kirby, Meta Knight, Samus, Ness, Lucas, Sonic, Mewtwo, Ash with every Pokemon he owns, Red with his 3 legendary birds, but at some point in the movie, we'll have a scene where he teams up with Ash's Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard in a scene reminiscent of the Smash Bros. Games, Fox, Falco, Wolf, Roy, Marth, Pit, Daisy, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Piranha Plant, Little Mac, Wario, Waluigi, who at first wasn't brought in to help, but has his own mini arc in the film where he finds his way into the main story to help in the fight, which is obviously a reference to how he's not in any of the Smash Bros. Games and it has kind of been made into a joke for that. King DDD, Ridley, Rosalina with Lumalee, Peppy Hare, Slippy Toad, Rob, Crystal, Navarre, Kada, Merrick, Elfilin, Paula, Jeff, Pooh, Marie, Kaylee, the Villager, Isabelle, Shulk, and the DLC characters, including potential characters like Sonic, Tails, Jinx, and DLC characters from other shows or films, where I would love to see Wreck-It Ralph come into play, but I doubt that's going to happen, but definitely things like that. We also see a long-awaited group of characters come into this universe from a wasteland world we see Kirby go to we don't recognize, with characters scattered from different worlds. So these characters mention how their worlds have all been destroyed by Galim and have had to unite here, and it's a team of characters from the Smash Bros. Games, which I couldn't find any other way to bring them into the franchise, so they come in this way. Amongst these characters are Captain Falcon, Mr. Game & Watch, Matt from Wii Sports, who plays the role of the Mii in the Super Smash Bros. Games, the Wii Fit Lady, Dr. Mario, and a Jigglypuff and Pichu from the world of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon where they can actually speak. In the end, this team will face off against Galim's army of hands, where Kirby will discover in this film the origin of these hands like Crazy Hand and Master Hand, and how they connect back to the first Smash Bros. Film. So this team will face off against them, but they will also be accompanied by armies from each of these worlds, like LT Surge with his army of electric Pokemon where he says he's ready for the second Great Pokemon War, along other armies. At the end of the film, they defeat Galim and go back to their worlds, but we also see the Wasteland team be dispersed to different worlds. Pichu and Jigglypuff, their world is going to collide with Ash's, but not in a bad way because their world is kind of destroyed already, so none of the other characters from their world come to this world, it's just them two. And then the same thing with Dr. Mario, where he's the only one from his world and he goes into Mario's world. And that's kind of weird to have two Marios in the same world now, but you can definitely play with that in the future. And you see Captain Falcon go to the world of Mario as well, and moves into the Jungle Kingdom to build his own F-Zero cart, where he tells everyone there what F-Zero is. Mr. Game & Watch goes to the world of Metroid to become a bounty hunter like Samus. Matt goes to the world of Little Mac to try his luck at becoming a boxer. And the Wii Fit Lady goes to the world of Animal Crossing to teach yoga, which is kind of a weird choice, but I could not find any other way that her character could go to one of these worlds and it makes sense. So this was level 3 of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Level 4 is a less real video, so in a way this is the conclusion, but level 4 will be out soon. It's a shorter video, so whichever projects you guys want to see there, whichever projects you want to talk about in this video, or if you think any of these projects are good, bad, any criticisms you have, I want to hear it all so that I can know for future reference for level 4 and when I make the video talking about why I do think a Nintendo Cinematic Universe is a good idea. So thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear what you guys think, so comment down below, click the bell notification bell for more videos, please subscribe, and see you next time on Big Flick Energy.